tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs, and we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Friday, December 23rd, 2022. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. This is a serious question. If you just won your first Mr. Olympia title after years of trying and dealing with all sorts of frustrations with visa issues and everything else under the sun, how do you think you would celebrate? Because if your answer is anything other than crushing yourself with a monster leg workout, then right there, that should let you know a men's open title probably isn't in the cards for you. But it does mean that another one might be in the future 11 months from now for Hadi Choopan. Even though it doesn't come as a complete shock to see Hadi putting himself through the ringer already, it does give you some pretty good insight into where his mindset is right now, because he's already treating week one of his reign like he's an underdog again. Certain people are just wired in a way that just lets them turn it off, and Hadi might fall into that camp. But if he's going to keep his foot on the throttle like this, it will be interesting to see what that does to everyone else's approach heading into next year's show. On yesterday's show, we dropped an announcement about one of the big names you can expect to see on stage in Columbus next March. And now we have another announcement for you about the 2023 Arnold Classic, courtesy of the man who's currently ranked as the number 3 bodybuilder on the planet, Nick Walker. A few days ago, the 2021 Arnold Classic champ let it be known that he had no plans to compete in Columbus again next year, which kind of seems like a logical move here, especially when you consider the fact that his primary focus from here on out seems like it's going to be geared towards winning the Mr. Olympia title. The fact that he was able to make so much progress with the extended off-season this year lets you know that he's plenty capable of executing the long game. So if he can put together another all-season stretch like what we saw this season and reconfigure a few pieces here and there, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be considered a legitimate threat to push Hadi for everything he's got during his first title defense next year. So it's a confirmed fact that Nick Walker will not be competing at the Arnold Classic. However, on the other hand, it is not a confirmed fact that Samson Dauda will be sitting this one out. Because over the last few days, there have been some rumors circulating that Samson and his team are considering making a run at jumping into the Arnold Classic this coming March. Now, given what we just saw last weekend, you'd imagine that if he does decide to go ahead with this decision, then he's going into Columbus as one of the pre-show favorites. And if anything, you'd imagine that the short turnaround time might actually be to his benefit, because it means that he'll probably come in even more detailed than he was in Vegas. From a strategy standpoint, we've already seen Samson be able to make huge strides during the season. So competing in March and then taking a few months off to focus on making more improvements doesn't seem like it would be an issue for someone like him. All things considered, his stock is hot as anyone's right now in the men's open division. So if you can capitalize on this momentum, adding a major title to your resume, there's no way that doesn't end up being a win-win for him in the end. Heading into the season, if you would have told most fans that we would see guys like Andrew Jack and Michael Krizo placed on an Olympia stage, they would have looked at you like you had two heads, because in no way, shape, or form were they on anyone's radar. But now that we've seen it happen once and we know there's a blueprint for it, what do you think that does to the expectations for someone like Good Vito? Out of the 3 names we just mentioned, Vito easily has the highest profile as an amateur, not to mention the fact that he's the youngest of the group, which would presumably mean that he also has the highest ceiling as well. He did everything he said he was going to do in terms of switching over to the NPC, winning the national qualifier, and then winning his pro card. And he made it look easy, which isn't something we should overlook, because that wasn't the case with Krizo. So if Vito really is as good as advertised, and he spends the next months getting himself fully dialed in to be a big factor at the next level, I think there's going to be a lot of people falling all over themselves to say I told you so after he makes his pro debut. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.